Who should get a Super Bowl halftime show? The NFL mulls over this question every single year because the Super Bowl halftime show is the one time, yearly, that everyone globally gives a shit about American football. And ironically, it's not even for football itself, it's for the coveted spot of the Super Bowl halftime show. Whoever performs the halftime show arguably gets the most watched concert of the year with millions tuning in globally. So it can't just be anybody. You're joining the likes of Beyonce, Michael Jackson, Prince, Bruno Mars, Lady Gaga, and Maroon 5. It needs to be a cultural icon. This band or artist needs to represent things that matter. And most importantly, they need to have some bangers. And I made Family Guy Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 style, so I know some bangers. With that, you should trust that I'm highly qualified to pitch which artist deserves a Super Bowl halftime show. With demographics, mainstream reach, and vibes all considered, I wholeheartedly believe that these artists would put on a great show. Many of these picks are unconventional. I'm not giving much thought to a Toto halftime show or a Guns N' Roses halftime show because the boomer American crowd is not so much of a consideration anymore because the NFL literally can't get any more viewership from the West. If you're American, you either like the NFL or you don't. It's the exact same thing if you're Canadian. You like hockey or you don't. It's not some sort of undiscovered sport for the Western demographic. It's not like we're introducing professional Magic the Gathering to the mainstream. We gotta think globally, brother. If we're talking about demographics, this is a galaxy brain pick if you want an Asian Bad Bunny. Now, I'm no chow head, but one thing is clear. 2026 and beyond is looking very Chinese. And it's not just me who's saying it, but hold on, you're probably asking, who the hell is Jay Chou? Well, he's the answer to the question, what if your light-skinned friend was actually Chinese? We're talking about slow, acoustic, soulful R&B ballads. They call him the king of mandopop, and legacy-wise, you could say he has an Usher type of relevance with the Chinese crowds. Every Chinese unk would know who Jay Chou is, and every Chinese kid would have some sort of knowledge about him. And just like Usher doing the halftime show, he would probably have a similar show like that. He'd make it romantic, he'd make it somber. Imagine a crowd of 42-year-old Chinese women losing their minds. The biggest downside is that Jay Chou hasn't broken through enough pop culture circles where we'd see him host SNL, show up at the Grammys, or take an F5 from Brock Lesnar at the Royal Rumble. So unlike people saying, oh yeah, I know Bad Bunny, but I can't name a single song, they're gonna say, who the fuck is this guy, man? Come on, this one is a no-brainer. I don't even need to say why they are deserving of a halftime show. If K-pop was a basketball team, then the Bangtan Boys have Mike, LeBron, Steph, Kareem, and Jokic on the same team. They have the tenure, they have the appeal, they have the internationally recognized songs for a great setlist, they can move like the Jabberwockies, and most importantly, they've collabed so much that BTS can organically bring in Super Bowl surprises that everybody likes. They do Boy With Love, now Halsey's in the mix, and he got extra points with the Tri-Buys of the world. They do Butter, Megan Thee Stallion has a verse. If you're really panicking and you need one more cameo artist to take it up a notch, just call it the K-pop halftime show and make Huntrix perform Golden, because why not? BTS is even cool with Coldplay, so you can bring Coldplay back for like the billionth time. 2027 would unironically be the greatest time you pull the trigger on a BTS halftime show, because right now, it's their comeback tour. Schedule-wise for BTS, they would be in Australia when the Super Bowl happens, but let's burn some more fossil fuels from private jets to make my worldwide handsome and degenerate gamer Jin perform at the Super Bowl.
You know what I want to ask you? Why are you called the Killers?
Well, before a show, to relax, we like to kill someone.
If I'm Roger Goodell and I just want a year where nobody's going to get on my ass about my halftime show choice, I'm taking the Killers all day. This is my white people pick. The perfect compromise for boomers that want no features, no Swedish songwriters, no trap beats, just 100% pure uncut rock, while still keeping international appeal. This is an all-American band that wears their Vegas glitz and glamour on their sleeve. And if Vegas holds the Super Bowl again, they would fit like a glove. It's genuinely genuinely the least controversial choice, and it's prime white people music to the point where you will get curb stomped if you talk shit on Mr. Brightside. Them performing Mr. Brightside at the Super Bowl alone is the biggest reason why this should happen. Immediately, the UK will be busting nuts over this because it's the British anthem being played at the Super Bowl. The Killers are not exactly the top echelon of household names, they're more of an understated pick. They're like the Tim Duncan of rock and roll, where you know who he is for sure, but you don't really have him much in the GOAT conversation. But then you look at his stats and you're like, wait, this guy won 5 championships. There's been a couple of times when the NFL pulls the trigger on artists who are still relatively fresh in their career with not exactly the quantity and quality of songs to get to their own greatest hits compilation status. Basically, they have rarely gotten an artist before turning 30 to do a halftime show. What I'm trying to get at is if the NFL wants to give a rising star a baptism of fire, I think out of all the new age pop girlies we got right now, Sabrina Carpenter and Billie Eilish are the best candidates for a Super Bowl halftime show.
Thank you, Kermit.
You fit right in with us, Sabrina.
Well, it helps we're the same height.
Sabrina would tear that f***ing stage up like it's nothing with unreal bits and insane technical feats. You know how Lady Gaga bungee jumped off of the arena for her halftime show? I think Sabrina would free solo to the top of the CN Tower, hitch herself onto a plane going to Super Bowl Burlington, Vermont, and skydive off of that plane and onto the stage Tom Cruise style. Look, man, I'm just all for Sabrina. I've loved her since seeing her in Tall Girl where she played Short Girl. I was day one on Espresso and even saw her Coachella 2024 performance where she said, I hope it becomes the song of the summer, and then it literally did. The way that Sabrina is climbing up the celebrity ladder should have books written about it. She's doing everything right. She's taking the Timberlake spot of constantly showing up on SNL, and she helped revive the Muppets. If Bad Bunny started all this controversy for having an all-Spanish show, Sabrina will start controversy for having a Super Bowl that's too sexy. She's going to put on an iconic show. It's as simple as that. Additionally, Sabrina has built up lots of goodwill with the boomer acts of yesteryear, and the NFL would definitely love some of those cameos. You got Dolly Parton, Earth, Wind and Fire, Duran Duran. She's done something with all of them. If you want a big production type show, Sabrina is an amazing pick, and I wholeheartedly believe that she's been ready for this moment.
What do you want from me?
Now, Billie would make the gayest halftime show ever created and the most Gen Z halftime show ever created. With the way Billie is moving right now, someone might actually die with how woke this could be. If you thought Kendrick would be the only one to make a vindictive halftime show akin to watching a live beheading, Billie would perform live war crimes. There's absolutely zero chance that she will not use the show as a way to make a statement, which is why a Billie halftime show would be incredible. My only worry is that she doesn't have the catalog or the kind of performance that would really resonate with a global Super Bowl audience. What makes Billie special is that compared to most other pop stars, she's arguably the most authentic and minimalistic. Her songs really represent that. It's more darker and introspective. However, I always think of that Tumblr post where that scene kid said, imagine My Chemical Romance, Panic at the Disco, and Fall Out Boy all performing together on stage with Dan and Phil holding the pride flag while making out. I think a Billie halftime show would be kind of something like that because she can bring on Charlie XCX. The 1-2 punch of denouncing billionaires and having Charlie XCX turn a football field into a snowfield is pure cinema. I think Miley has been shockingly consistent in her relevancy to the point where it wouldn't be a bad idea if she got a Super Bowl. The catalog of songs wouldn't be bad whatsoever. Flowers is a massive, massive hit that solidified Miley's place in our culture, and Party in the USA for Miley was like when Italian mobsters get made, so she will always have that to tear the house down. Plus you got Wrecking Ball and We Can't Stop in the twerking era, and she could perform The Climb for all the horse girlies. On paper, it would be an incredibly strong show. 2019 Atlanta didn't deserve Adam Levine. They deserved Outkast. I think a lot about which rappers should have a Super Bowl, and I constantly come back to Outkast being the objective best pick with almost no downside. They have the pedigree, the whimsy, the energy, and the catalog to back it up with a nuclear white people weapon in Hey Ya. The number one thing that's stopping this from happening is that Outkast themselves don't want it. They've gone on record saying that they've turned down the offer because they don't want to shorten the songs. So if Outkast shows up in the Super Bowl, then get ready for a 10-minute Andre 3000 flute solo, buddy. And while we're on rap, I'd say that this is the genre where there are incredibly few rappers that should get a halftime show. Most of the deserving ones already showed up in 2022, and a good number of rappers that have the catalog and the icon status to back it up immediately have problems on their own. In many worlds, Drake would have been the best possible pick here, but Kendrick ripped that man limb by limb so brutally, it's just Joe for a man. I don't see it happening. Travis Scott on paper is a solid pick, but I think that that the lane that he occupies would not really translate well to the wider Super Bowl audience as a headline performer. It's like getting Limp Bizkit in the Super Bowl, or what the Travi Patty and Playboy Cardi are doing with Raging is essentially new metal for Gen Z. He could do supporting again just fine if they want to feign it up in there, but not the entire show. The same argument going against Travis Scott is the same reason why I'd say Metallica might not be the greatest pick, because what they do is not the easiest translation for the Super Bowl audience. But honestly, I can see myself being proved completely wrong for a Travis Scott or Metallica Super Bowl. Like it or not, they are that big. And then, of course, Kanye.
No fair, he's gotta come from the future.
And I don't need to say much about how that ship has already sailed a long time ago. You give Ye a live mic with millions of people watching and you're going to see hell on earth. This pretty much leaves us with Cardi B and Jay-Z as great picks. I definitely see Cardi B doing it sometime. I can't really tell you much about her, but she's consistently been making waves and making hits steadily for almost the past decade now, so she is definitely deserving of it. And then with Jay-Z, it turns out he runs the Super Bowl halftime show. Yeah, his company Rock Nation is the live music entertainment strategist for the NFL. They took over in 2020 with the Shakira and J-Lo show, and they've been booking the shows ever since. So you can say that Maroon 5's 2019 halftime show was so horrible it changed the entire way halftime shows were booked. So anyway, yeah, for business reasons, he shouldn't make himself the halftime show. But at the same time, I want him to do a corporate Triple H and book himself for the show because he would genuinely be a great pick. Jay-Z's greatest strength is that he is one of the greatest music collaborators to ever exist. It's all viral moments waiting to happen because of the star power he can bring on that stage. His biggest hits have amazing names attached to it. You bring in Alicia Keys for Empire State of Mind, you bring in Linkin Park for Encore, and you bring in, that guy for that thing in Paris.
One of the best videos of all time.
I honestly have nothing to say that hasn't already been said about a Taylor Swift halftime show. Out of every possible option I've given here, they all have a reasonable case of why we will never see it happen. But a Taylor halftime show is a 100% sure thing. It's just a question of when at this point. The NFL have been teasing a Taylor halftime show like Marvel teasing Thanos. And I just wonder if she's going to do it at the peak of her powers right now, or if she's going to do it way down the line when her stars kind of faded a bit. And Taylor is actively living the monologue exclaimed by Northern Lion.
If you lock in, you can do anything, motherfucker.
And I'm terrified. Oh my god, it's Hayley Williams. Weezer and Radiohead with special guest Geese halftime show.